The topic today is one, it's not often discussed, actually. We often talk about and think about in, psychology in our lives, how much trauma affects us, being on the receiving end of abuse and bad things that were done to us. And but how often do we talk about the bad things we've done? Of course, there are certain people who specialize in doing really super bad things repeatedly, but all of us have done things that have hurt other people, either intentionally because we're mad or jealous, or usually mad or jealous, or we are just ignorant of what was necessary in a situation. So we have regrets where we've accidentally harmed someone, a pet, a loved one, and it stays with us, and sometimes it's hard to resolve, particularly if that being isn't around anymore and or doesn't want to relate to you. And so you have to do your work internally, am I right? And that hurts. It's a hurt you carry around inside. I know I've made mistakes and I've hurt people. And Buddha was about bringing an end to suffering. So we want to pay attention to those points of pain in our lives. And for thousands of years, Buddhists have been doing just that, trying to find ways to skillfully work with mental, emotional issues, recurring thoughts like, oh no, I can't believe I did that. And or many other thoughts that replay in our minds like broken records. I remember the day of records, and I don't think any of my broken records... Oh yeah, I guess they did. I guess they would skip back, wouldn't they? If anybody remembers out there. I'm trying to remember them replaying. I remember them doing a lot of things, but not replaying so much. Anyway, you know what I mean. On and on and on. So, on this channel, we're talking about the Mahayana tradition of the great bodhisattvas, the awakening. Those of us on the path of awakening who made a vow to benefit all sentient beings in this and all future lives. And Mahayana Buddhism has a story that goes right along with what I'm talking about. So there was a guy, and I think he was already a monk with good conduct. And this is in time immemorial, once upon a time, before actually our current Buddha of this era, Shakyamuni, 2,500 years ago, came on the scene. There were other Buddhas before him in the Mahayana system. We think like that. And Buddha means totally awaken, free from all obscurations, totally pure, bright, aware, unblocked. Doesn't that sound great? It sounds great to me. And so a previous Buddha existed, and he had an interaction with this monk, and the monk was very inspired by being told that what was the exact words? Let's see. So the previous Buddha's name was Great Eyes, or Big Eyes. And let me see here what the exact language was. This Buddha. He was teaching on patience. Remember that? We've talked about the 6 perfections, or paramitas, the way that we develop ourselves as Buddhas in the making, bodhisattvas on the path. And one of them the categories was patience, really, really important. And often, patience is associated with forbearance from getting angry. And learning different skillful techniques to work with our minds so that we don't blow up at people. Sounds like a good idea, doesn't it? Because only harm comes from that. So he heard about this. He received a teaching on the virtues of patience from Buddha Big Eyes. And he said, wow, I'm going to do this. He got all excited. And he said, I'm going to refrain from having any anger or aggression towards any sentient being. No matter who they are and what they do, I'm going to remain patient with them forever, for countless, not just this lifetime, but in all future lifetimes until I completely wake up as a Buddha. And that Buddha Big Eyes tried to kind of talk him out of it. He thought that was too big a goal to make. My gosh, who can do that? But the monk persisted. And so the Buddha said, okay, I believe you. And he said, not from here on. So this guy made the vow. And he put his hand, you'll see in the picture, in the Bhumi Parsha mudra, his finger touching the ground in his seated posture. And he made the vow, from now till forever, I'm never going to lose my patience with sentient beings. And the ground, there was 7 earthquakes. And the Buddha said, yeah, you're really never going to do it. I believe you. And when you become a Buddha, I'm giving you the name Akshobhya. And Akshobhya is literally means immovable. What really means is like resolute or unassailable. Like there's nothing that's going to shake his patience. And so then he went through all the deeds of what Buddha Big Eyes predicted. And you, as a Buddha, your name will also be Akshobhya. So Buddha Big Eyes then went through many lifetimes, continuously making offerings to the Buddhas, cultivating, of course, maintaining his patience, practicing all kinds of generosity, inconceivable to us regular old people. And he did become a Buddha. And then his power, so in Mahayana Buddhism, each Buddha gets its own Pure Land. And that means its own sort of domain. And Akshobhya's domain is in the east, and it's the Pure Land of Abharati, or the joyful Pure Land. And it belongs to the Vajra family, which has to do with transforming anger. So there's all kinds of different, perspective on Buddhas and Pure Lands in the different schools of Buddhism. So I'm trying to keep it kind of simple, keep it straight down the middle here. Because we got to get to what the juice of this is, because how we can apply these points to ourselves, right? So Buddha Akshobhya is blue, depicted as blue, and belonging to the Vajra family, which has to do with transforming anger into mirror-like clarity. Mirror-like clarity. Really, totally clear, precise. These people, Buddhas who become like super scholars with really clear minds and uncorruptible intellect. They are Vajra family, regarded as Vajra family. In the East, so each Buddha has a direction, even 5 main Buddhas in our system have a direction and a Pure Land. And the Pure Lands have mostly the same characteristics. They're absolutely perfect and wonderful in every way. And they'll have some special characteristics. So on becoming a Buddha, his function came to be purifying people, bodhisattvas on the path of their misdeeds. When they've harmed others based on anger, is usually what it is. And that moment of anger that can wipe away a lifetime of virtue. Am I right? And his mantra, or dharani it's called in Sanskrit for, in the Mahayana system, they're called dharanis. It literally means no sin, no sin, no burning, no burning, no shattering, no shattering, no fear, no fear, no scattering, no scattering. All the chains of the constant flow of karma since beginningless time are broken. May it be accomplished. So I'll put it up, the Sanskrit up on the screen, and we'll do some practice of this dharani, very powerful dharani. I received this from Lama Pema Dorje Rinpoche in the body of practices coming from Padampa Sangye, 10th or 11th century Buddha, and came from India to Tibet. And this dharani is targeted to anybody, any human being, particularly bodhisattvas on the path, taking the bodhisattva vow, taking refuge, taking the bodhisattva vow, can use it to purify any misdeeds, because language, words resonate with your system, your subtle energy body, where words are actually, in language, is kept. That's the way they look at things in traditional Buddhism. We can make equivalences with our brain and nervous system. And that vibration and that repetition of these sacred syllables, which actually in this case, the long version includes the name of a praise to Akshobhya. Gradually erases that from your body, so that karma that you've caused can be purified. And it's whereas you may have heard of the Buddha Vajrasattva, who is also a Vajra's family Buddha. Vajrasattva is a little bit more of a specialty for Vajrayana practitioners, keeping their pure view, their correcting deviations in their pure view, and their so-called samaya, their Vajra oaths. And this is more broad for everybody. It doesn't require any special transmission. So it opens up channels that have been blocked by karmic habits, wisdom channels, the sound of the mantra. And you have to say this one aloud, I've been instructed. And I did an interesting thing. I went to a few years ago, I spoke in New York City at the Karuna Sangha, which is mostly Zen practitioners, and they're mostly doing silent sitting, I assume. But I went in and rather boldly proposed that we do some sitting, and then we do the mantra for a while, and then see how it affected your sitting. And one guy said, I just hated doing the mantra. It was going on and on and on. It was like nowhere near as long as we recite mantras in our Vajrayana tradition, where we're working with mantras all the time. But for him, it was a lot. And in a big group, saying it out loud, it's a little bit energetic. So I'm not disparaging this guy. He was actually wonderful, genuine, because he was being honest. So you're going on and on with this thing, and then I practice afterwards, and wow, it really did help my practice. So you can try it out. We can practice for a few minutes, then recite the mantra for a while. There's a long form and a short form. We can do both. And let's see how it goes. So is there anything else I need to say about this? I thought there was an interesting observation I read in relation to this, which was all karmic collection occurs in the domain of the mind. It's through our concepts that we accumulate karma. Karma, in turn, makes more concepts. Karmic winds, the air element, is where these obscurations abide. The mantra is how we purify these concepts, these karmic obscurations. So let's just do it. Keep it simple, lady. First of all, let's bring up an image of Akshobhya Buddha so you know what we're talking about. It's a simple visualization. I think you can groove to it. Hold on just a sec while I grab it out of a folder on my desktop. Alrighty. Okay, that'll work, kind of. How do I do this? Everything's reversed. I'm just, like mentally ill. So here we go. So that is Akshobhya. I thought that was the nicest one I found online. And Akshobhya has a very simple presentation. You can see here where he's touching the ground with that Bhumi Parshi, that earth-touching mudra, or hand gesture. His legs are in Vajra posture, totally crossing up on the knees, the way few of us can do, but more power to you if you can. And then it's very stable. So, it actually shows his stability, I would say, just winging it here. That once you get in that posture, I was able to do it at one time, for a while, it's like you're locked in there and you could almost, there's no way to fall over because your legs are in pretzels and anchored to the ground. So that immovable quality is wonderful. And he's got monk's robes, very simple. And then a Vajra here showing a sign of the Vajra family. It's in his left hand, open palm, standing up, showing the indestructibility of emptiness, right? So try to spend for a minute looking at it, gazing at it. When you then close your eyes and see if it's left an imprint on in the inside of your eyelids. It has on mine. I can see it in my mind's eye when I close my eyes. Okay. So now I'm going to, don't worry, he'll come back in a smaller size. Now I'm going to bring up the dharani. Okay. And I'm going to put my larger size here in front of me. And what you're going to do is visualize Buddha Akshobhya above your head, and then he's beaming out beams of light. And you can make those beams of light any color that works for you. Rainbow colors, blue or white. And the light waves are flowing through your body and purifying your negative karma as we recite the dharani. And just follow along with me. I'm using My own Lama's recitation was a little hard for me to imitate, so the Karmapa, the current Karmapa, recites it on a famous video on YouTube, so it's one of his special practices. So he did it very slowly, and so I'm using his Tibetan style of reciting Sanskrit. So if it doesn't sound exactly the same, I wouldn't sweat it too much. But let's do this together. Just sit nicely. And let's just meditate for a moment. The main thing about meditation that I want to talk about before we even get started with the mantra is, we have a natural tendency for our mind to go out and kind of hook onto whatever's going on. So right now, I don't know if you can hear it or not, there are cats yowling outside. I don't know why. I fed them. And then sirens going. So my mind automatically zoops, and it's like, they talk about in the Tibetan literature, like it almost leaves your body and merges with that thing. So meditation is kind of bringing yourself back to your center. Back in the 70s, there was a book called Centering. Kind of want to find a copy of that. It was all the rage among my hippie friends when I was a teenager, and I never read it. It was like making yourself like a pot being thrown. And, how it gets rounder and rounder and centered. I think it was by a potter. That's what I read on the back cover, I think. And so it's like that. You want to be centered in yourself. It's put it in the very center of your chest. You can make a little reference point. To just stay there. And it doesn't mean you're trying to block out the sound exactly, but you're watching. You're just staying really rooted in your own place and not following after it with your thoughts. A lot it can be there and you're aware of it, but it doesn't have to be the center of your reality. Right? So let's try that. So that way, whatever way if you're on a boat, your body naturally, that's the deck of the boat can be going like that, and your body will naturally be upright because your body naturally goes back to center, right? So you're just upright, mentally, physically if you can. All right, see, then now you place Akshobhya at the top of your head. You can see a smaller image of him there. Take a moment and really get that visualization of Akshobhya Buddha clear. You can see sitting on a moon, flattened moon, like a disc, and then there's a lotus under that. Do you see that? And now he's sending out light rays in all directions, including going right through you and purifying all your negative karma, all the harm you've done. Namo Bhagavate Akshobhya Tayata Arhati Samyaya Sambuddhaya Tayata. Om Kam Kani Rochani Trotani Traisani Pratihana Sawai karma paramparani sawasato nenchaye soha. Namo Bhagavate Akshobhya Tathagataya Arhate Samyaya Sambuddhaya Tayata. Om Kam Kani Rochani Trotani Trasani Pratihana Sawai karma paramparani sawasato nenchaye soham. Namo Bhagavate Akshobhya Tayata Arhate Samyaya Sambuddhaya Tayata. Om Kam Kani Rochani Trotani Traisani Pratihana Sawakama paramparani sawasato nenchaye soham. Now the concise version below. Namo Ratnatrayaya Om Kam Kani Rochani Trotani Dasani Pratihana Sawai karma paramparani sawasato nenchaye soham. Namo Ratnatrayaya Om Kam Kani Rochani Trotani Tasani Pratihana Sawakama paramparani
Sawa Satu Nancha Soham. Namo Ratna Trayayam. Om Kam Kani Rochani Trotani Trasani Pratihana Sawakama Param Pare Nime Sawa Sato Nanchaye Soha.
Now meditate. So that's you can elongate that, and there are hour loops you can find on YouTube of Karmapa and others probably doing lots and lots of this mantra called the Kamkani mantra. You just need to search for Akshobhya. And so the Vajra family, this is like this anger and hatred, are transformed into this mirror-like wisdom. And I kind of felt that, and those of us who are not truly realized, we haven't truly entered onto the bodhisattva paths and levels, the path of seeing being the first, first breakthrough into the actually seeing the true nature of reality, which is a big leap, and that's only level 1. And if you really break through, there's permanent change. There's no falling back. Yay. So, because you've seen the true nature of reality, then you're touching on all the actual 5 wisdoms. But we can sort of get a taste as we practice this Kamkani mantra. I think so. I think you get the sense of being grounded in your own place, holding your own place, and not being thrown off, not being drawn in to anger, in this case, And you're really poised. And a mirror, it's like you are a mirror. And the whole world is reflecting in you, and you're just pristine. You're totally clear, translucent, and pure. There's nothing there there's no, your mind isn't going on and grasping onto that irritating thing. It doesn't get you under its spell. You aren't drawn around. I always use the example by your nose, like a pig, or a cattle with a ring through your nose, pulled in this direction or that direction. You have your own center. So it's like a mirror or a diamond, something bright that just reflects without being damaged, because you have a taste of the way things really are, and by doing that all at once, you have a little slight taste of the way things might be when we're not drawn into the realm of suffering for a few minutes. And so we have a question here from Lori. Do you have an English translation? Yeah, I recited it earlier, and I don't have it ready to throw up on the screen, but I can put it up in the recording of this tomorrow. And I'm just going to repeat there's an homage there at the beginning. So Nama Bhagavate Akshobhya is paying homage to Akshobhya Buddha. Namo, homage. And then where it's that long salute to the perfect Buddha, Akshobhya, then it's down below in the shorter version is like Nama Ratnatrayaya, homage to all the three jewels. Tri means the same thing as it does in our language. You can see the common root with Sanskrit. Ratna is jewel, so the Namo to Ratnatraya to the three jewels. And then the Kamkani mantra, Kamkani means sin in the translation that I have. No sin, no sin, no burning, no burning, no shattering, no shattering, no fear, no fear, no scattering, no scattering. All the chains of the constant flow of karma since beginningless time are broken. May it be accomplished. So, Lama Pema Dorje says if you recite this mantra, you'll get the effect of the mantra. You out loud. You really will. And if you don't recite it, just think about it. You won't get any of the effects of it. So it's got its own power, and everything he said was true, so we'll go with that. And if you need any help, if you're in the neighborhood, I have some cards with this picture on one side and the mantra on the back side left over from that event that I once did at the New York City. Pile of them somewhere. Or maybe I can mail you one if you're farther away. Just let me know if there's anything you need that can help you in your practice. Sorry I ran over a half hour. I try to keep it short these days. And boy, watching other people on the internet is like my mind. I cannot sustain my attention anymore. I'm so done. So thankful that a couple of people came today. I salute you. Anyway, so have a wonderful spring, and I'll see you next week. Almost spring. Bye now.